you're anything like me, you've spent a good part of your gaming history in a lot of free-to-play games or competitive-based games. The reason I bring up free-to-play games is that usually when your friends download something new or you and your playgroup want to try something new, it's much easier to convince that one broke friend, me, to play the game and try it out if it's free. Well, developers have caught on to this, and a lot of the free-to-play games that come out are like a games-as-a-service model or have a lot of predatory transaction models. We're not really worried about that right now, but they're usually competitive. And the reason that's important is because you and your friends a lot of the time are going to wind up playing these competitive games that are engaging in practices to make you win about 50% of the time, to keep going and going and playing and playing. Now, I spent many years of my life playing these types of games solo and with friends. However, over the last year, I found myself weaning that type of gameplay out of my gaming diet, let's call it, and leaning towards more other experiences. And for the last 3 months, I've been completely sober from a competitive gaming mindset. My name is theluckytempest, and today I'm going to be talking about how quitting competitive games changed my life. But first things first, this is probably the most obvious portion to anybody who's done this themselves or just takes 2 seconds to think about it. I have way more free time. Specifically, way more free time when gaming. Between dailies, weeklies, battle passes, all the things they expect you to do and boot up every single day that doesn't just take 20 minutes of your time, takes hour plus. And especially if you've got more than one game, yeah, you lose a lot of your day. You lose a lot of your gaming time to these games that have all these big asks of you. They're time sinks, right? And then you get into the sunken cost fallacy where it's both your time and the money you spent, and then you don't want to quit because of it, those types of things, right? But ultimately, I've found, especially since I stream 4 hours a day, every single day, that now that I'm not doing competitive games anymore on stream, I have more times to finish other games, to experiment with the type of streams I'm doing. Because I'm not like, all right, we got to boot up. Let's get our dailies done. Let's do this, that kind of thing. So it's just been very nice to have that freedom back with my time. And when we think about it, ultimately, what is gaming? For the majority of us, it is an escape from reality. It's a hobby, and it's meant to give us something to do to unwind and relax. It's not supposed to be a second job, which brings me to my next point. Because it is treated like a job, because these competitive games require so much from you, not just the dailies, but like learning execution, strats, all these different things, you could find yourself outside of game time watching videos, looking at docs, all these things to brush up your skills and become a better player. And it's like, that's part of the getting good practice, right? You like involve yourself in this game in all facets of your life, and that's cool. That's great if that's what you're into, and I think a lot of people are, and that's all right. But there comes a point where, for a lot of people, myself included, you start judging yourself based on your performance in the game. Now, mind you, losing is part of playing a video game, but some people, they base their entire self-worth around whether or not they're winning. For some people in the fighting game community, it's more common that they'll judge themselves more so on whether or not they're growing or learning how to deal with certain matchups better, more so than the winning losing part. But that's still there. That need to win is still there. That need to improve is always there. And when your self-worth gets tied to being more productive and getting better at something constantly, and your free time, your hobby is now a part of that, that's not good for your mental health. It can really take a toll on you. You can start getting more agitated, you're tired more easily. You're just not really enjoying your free time when you're playing your games. And I think that's sad, because again, at the end of the day, this is about having fun. This is about having a good time. And I think that we kind of lost sight of that. The devs, the biggest scam in history is the devs pulling the wool over eyes and saying, hey, you want to be good at video games? To be good at video games, you got to sink all your time into the entire little IP. And they got us good. That's for sure. But here's the thing. It's like, well, all my friends are playing this game and I want to play with my friends. Therefore, I need to play this game as well. That, I think, is like the #1 hardest thing for people to quit on these games, right? For me, it's easy. It's very easy for me to look at my friends and be like, I'm good. I don't want to play that. Sorry. Maybe I'm an asshole. I don't know. But I genuinely don't want to be the person that's forcing myself into a game I'm not having fun with. and everybody's competitive with or whatever it is, and then I'm bringing the group morale down because I'm just not having a good time. I'm not one of those people that can fake my enjoyment of something super well. Why I don't do it. It's part of being autistic, actually. It's just very, very difficult to force yourself to enjoy something or fake you're enjoying something that you're not. It just is what it is, you know? But that's part of the reason why I found once you lose that, not lose, but you temper your competitive mindset and you temper expectations of when you're playing these competitive games and just say, you know what? We're just going to fuck it, we ball and have fun. Who cares about the crazy strats? Who cares about the whatevers? It gets a lot easier to just dick around and be a goofball. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's impossible to have fun when you're coming up with strats and you're learning optimal ways to do things. Yes, that is fun. But there comes a point in that learning process where it's like, okay, I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. And at some point you stop caring about having fun and you start worrying more about all this time you put in to get good and all the strategies you learn and all that stuff, and all you care about is like the outcome, whether it's winning or the setup happening, and the actions that led you to that point are no longer fun. And that's sad. That's what I'm saying, you know? So what I've had happen recently in the past 3 months is that, well, longer at this point, is that I've been able to experience a lot of different things. So back when I was playing Strive competitively every day, and then it was Chernova and a few other things, I would spend the vast majority of my time listening to YouTube videos while I was driving or working on something, or even going to sleep, just to hear like the sound effects of the games more, to get used to things. Like, for example, in Strive, there was a special that I was having a hard time reacting to, so I would just play high level footage of that and listen for it, and then like move my fingers like I was blocking it, stuff like that. Where I would just like obsess and do that kind of stuff when I wasn't in the game. That's not that's not normal. That's not something I should have been doing. And now, instead of doing that during that time, I've gone back to listening to music, watching TV, thinking of new ideas for my books, just interacting with people, having healthy relationships, touching grass more. I've had a more balanced and like full life since I've kind of taken a step back from those things. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you see my streams and videos, but Lucky, you still play TCGs. You have a whole channel dedicated to Monster Tamer content and TCGs, and you still play fighting games. You just put up a video of fighting game footage in the background not that long ago. Wait a second, this video has fighting game footage in the background. What's happening? Yeah, no, I'm not saying you have to cut the games out of your life entirely. I'm not saying you have to play it like once a week or something. I'm saying that sometimes taking a break and then forcing yourself to change your mentality on the game is valuable. I mean, if you're not competing in tournaments, right, and you're not a career professional when it comes to gaming, why the fuck does it matter if you can skibbity b-hop 380 around that one corner? Nobody fucking cares, bro. Nobody gives a shit. Your friends might be like, oh fuck, that was sick, right? But was that one moment worth the thousands of hours you've lost that you could have been doing something else? Yeah, it probably was. But in those thousands of hours, you could have also had way more moments of equal or greater value than that one moment you got out of the end. I'm not saying that your lifestyle is wrong if this is what you enjoy doing. If you're happy and this is what you enjoy doing, and you're not raging every day, you're not fucking miserable, you're not feeling a sense of dread when you boot up or anything like that, keep doing what you're doing. You're having fun. That's what matters. This is what gaming is about, you know? But for a lot of you, and I see you, I see you on the internet, I know how you are, take a step back. It's okay. Find something else. There is free-to-play games, I promise, that don't require you to be competitive or sink your entire life into them. And there's cheap games like West of Loathing, 13 hours probably pushing it, but it's like a 10-hour experience. A really, really good time. It doesn't look like much, but it's a joy to play, you know? There's a bunch of games. There's so many single player games. There's so many multiplayer games where you can just take a load off for a little bit and experience something new. Or, you know, pick up a hobby, go bowling, play volleyball, play baseball, do something, go outside. I don't know. I just wanted to ramble a little bit about this because it's something I've been thinking about lately. My original post was probably a month ago where I said, damn, it's so weird. I feel like my competitive spirit has died. And that's kind of where this came from. I don't think it's necessarily that my competitive spirit perished. I think it's more of the fact that it's mellowed out. It's tempered. Yeah, I still like to be competitive. I like to keep up on things. But I'm no longer chasing heights that I don't value, if that makes sense. Like, why am I putting all my time into something if I don't have the aspirations to be an Evo level player in a fighting game? That doesn't make sense. Why am I studying insane strats for a card game when all I want to do for that card game is make content around it and have fun with silly decks? You know what I mean? Like, being real with yourself and being real with what you're trying to accomplish is a big piece of this puzzle. And I can't teach you how to find yourself, but I can give you a gentle nudge in the right direction. Anyways, that's enough rambling for me on this one. I had a good time making this video. Definitely, if you haven't yet, check out my streams. I have a VODs channel if you missed them and you want to check that out. But I do stream 7 days a week here and on Twitch. Not only that, but we have a really active community in the Discord. We like fighting games, we like anime, we like fucking me, obviously, the Digimon TCG, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm sure you'll find something to talk about there, or at least you'll like the art that gets posted. If you want to support me further than a like, comment, and a subscription, you can do so by either becoming a member here, a Twitch subscriber, or a Patreon member. All three of those types of people get access to my videos early. That's a little perk for you. Other than that, I'm done chilling. I've done my little self-sponsored segment of my video. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you. Okay, bye.
Can't